computer.
Okay, so just let me know in the next 2 weeks, because you will not come back for an official class here again. You will come back and turn in your portfolio. And I have it due on the 27th or 29th or something like that. As long as I get it by May 4th, that's fine. I'm just giving you, I have to have it by May 4th because that's the last day of class, and I have to have time to grade them and turn grades in. So anytime that after the, that last week, class is in on the 4th, I need it by the 4th, but you can turn it in anytime after I do your observation. Next week, if you want to go ahead and do your final observation paper, Miriam, you haven't completed your hours, so you can wait on your final observation, just turn it in with your, when you turn your portfolio in. But those of you who finished your hours, you can go ahead and write your final reflection paper, and that's what's due next week. You won't have a weekly reflection due, just that reflection paper. And then go ahead this week, start thinking about when you want me to come do next week. There's 7 of you, so I'd like to just do one a day. Cecil and Indy are at the same place, I might do both of them. But I prefer to just do, unless you're real close proximity, just to do one day. But like I said, 30 minutes, give me a day's notice so I can make sure I haven't had some physical therapy, so I'm trying to work around that. But any other questions or concerns? Graduation's on the 14th. Yeah, portfolios are due by the 4th. Once they're done, if you want your portfolio back, I can leave it in my office, or you can come out and get it at my house or whatever once it's graded, because I want you to keep them, because that's the purpose, is for you to have one to show to people. This is the table of contents. I went ahead and printed it out for you. This will be on the first page of your portfolio, and then you put tab dividers. Put a tab divider for each of these areas, and these will be the 10 sections. So just five, a notebook like this, and then just put your dividers in there. Do a divider for all those things. And then a lot of people just do the little plastic things. You can even get the plastic ones that have the tabs on the side. Just make it look professional and neat. A nice cover. The table of contents is already printed for you. You don't have to print a new one. So that's it. So when you're doing your portfolio, here's the table of contents. I just gave it to you. If you lose it, you can print it from the slide right there, because I've got a form right there for you. This is how it's graded, in case you want to look and see how it's graded. Anyway, it's online. If it's not opening up, but it's online. The key assessment of rubric, it tells you each thing's 10 points, so 100 points. And all those things you've done before. It's not like you haven't done them. You already have your resume. You already have your case study. You already have those things. Some of you asked for some extra time on your advocacy form. If you haven't done that, get that in there by the end. I'll give you the same time. I'll give you to the May 4th to get it done. So today we're going to talk about the standards. Now we talked about the code of conduct when you did your birthday cake dilemma. But one of the things that we need to know is the NAEYC, the National Association for Educating Young Children standards, and that's what we develop our classes around. And so, if you want to, Cassandra, will you sit with my Jayla and I can do this together? It'll be a lot easier to do it together. So, the yellow. When you open up this envelope, there's yellow papers and white papers. So I want you first to just get the yellow papers, just put them out on your desk, like over the top of your desk, because there's a bunch of them, and line them up in order from 1 to 7. So you'll just line them up across the top of your desk, 1 to 7. And one of them doesn't have a number because it's a second part in one that got cut off. This one got cut. 5 is the one that got cut off. Okay. So 5's got 2 pieces, the number and then the part that doesn't have. It was on 2 separate sheets. So 5 is 2 together. So 1, 2, just line up. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now these are, like I said, these are the standards that we make our classes for. These are the standards that all early childhood educators should know. And then these are what goes under the standard. These are how we know it. So those are kind of the standards, and these are like the objectives. So we know what you're doing. So somebody read number 1 for me. Anybody?
Candidates prepared in early childhood degree programs are grounded in a child development knowledge base. They use their understandings of young children's characteristics and needs and of multiple interacting influences on children's development and learning to create environments that are healthy, respectful, supportive, and challenging for each child.
So that one is mostly about knowing about children and developing and learning. So then what we're going to do when we're finished in just a minute, you're going to go through these and you're going to say, how do I know I'm doing that? How am I doing? So if I want to know that you were doing standard 1, and it says you as a candidate are prepared, understanding young children's characteristics and needs, and a multiple interacting influences on child development and learning to create environments that are healthy, respectful, supportive, and challenging. What would show you? What's something you do? What's something you do on a daily basis that would go under number 1? Do you think it's something you do on a daily basis? The key words are that you're developing, you're interacting and developing environments for children. And so what's something you do? What's something that's in that portfolio that would be under number 1? What did you have to turn into me? Activity plans, yes. So activity plans, lesson plans would be your number 1. So what you're going to do is I want you to look through the standards, and I want you to put the objectives that go with standards. So that one, let's see. I'm trying to find one. So one of that under number 1 would be knowing and understanding effective strategies and tools for early education. So that would be 1. So read through all 7 of them, and then you're just going to kind of match the objective, yeah, like just like that. And you might want to spread them out so you put them under it. So standard 1. Some of them are going to have like multiple, and some of them are only going to have like 2 or 3. So read the objective and then figure out where it goes. And if you look at them, the top kind of tells you what they're about. That one's about child development. This one's about family and community. This is about assessment. Number 4 is about effective approaches to connect with children and families. This one's about curriculum. That one might be curriculum there. And then this one is becoming a professional, like being in organizations. And this one is about field experiences. I have to look because I haven't looked at them in a while. Just keep to go through there and see which ones. And this isn't a right or wrong. You're just kind of playing the game. I want you to read them without me reading them to you. And then we'll go through and match them, and I'll show you which ones they are. See how many you got right. A lot of them have the same wording, and if you read them, they'll have the same wording as in the objective thing. Like I said, there's no right, we'll go through them at the end. Like things that you know, like they'll say you have this in your repertoire, like you have these tools in your repertoire, like things you know, like a group of things you know.
It's contagious.
What, as you yawning?
You start yawning together.
Some of them it's just they're worded funny. Number 7, that most of that one's about field experience. If you hadn't figured that one out, number 7 is about like observing. I hope you're got something. I know I've got something wrong too. About, yeah, 5 years. They got 3 more. They got 3 more to go. Okay, so let's look and see if we're right. So standard number 1 that you already read. So there are 3 under that one. So if you are going to be able to create an environment that's healthy, respectful, supportive, and challenging, then you need to, A1 is know and understand young children's characteristics and needs from birth to age 8. And then 1B is you need to know and understand the multiple influences on early development and learning. And C, use developmental knowledge to create healthy, respectful, supportive, and challenging learning environments for all children. So those 3 things are what should be under number 1. And like Sherry said, creating lesson plans would be in that, making games, any of the things you're doing where you're actually creating the environment and the materials and you understand what children know. That's number 1, standard number 1. Standard number 2, building family and community relationships. You need to understand how to create respectful, reciprocal relationships that support and empower families and to involve all families in their children's development and learning. And there are 3 things in here. You need to know and understand diverse family and community characteristics. You need to support and engage families and communities through respectful, reciprocal relationships. And you need to involve families and community in their young child's development and learning. And this is why in like 131, you had to do a family night. You had to do an agenda for a parent meeting. Because we want you to make sure that you know how to work with diverse families and support families' needs. So I guess this, for me, this activity kind of ties together everything you've done in the last 2 years, so you understand why we make you do the things you do. It's not just like, oh, we want to make them make lesson plans, because we need to see that you understand what students need to do. And this one, we make you do an agenda and a family night and bulletin boards, because we want you to make sure you understand that you should involve all families in your education, in the education of children. Number 3, observing, documenting, and assessing to support young children. So this one, you are supposed to be able to use tools of assessment and use systematic observations, documentation, and other effective assessment strategies in a reasonable way in partnership with families So in this class and in 221 and in 145, when you had to observe a child and document them, that's why you had to do it. So number A is understand the goals, benefits, and uses of assessment. B is knowing about and using observation, documentation, and other appropriate assessment tools. C, understand and practice reasonable assessment to promote positive outcomes for each child. And D, knowing about assessment partnerships with families and with professional colleagues. Also, this is where, you remember in 221, you had to come up with a list of things you could share with parents about assessments, where they could go get their children activities and things like that. This is part of that one too. 4 is about using developmentally effective approaches to connect with families and children. You need to know, understand, and use a wide variety of developmentally appropriate approaches, instructional strategies, and tools to connect with children and family. So there's 4 here. Understanding positive relationships and supportive interactions as a foundation of their work with children. Knowing and understanding effective strategies and tools for early education. Using a broad repertoire of developmentally appropriate teaching and learning approaches, and reflecting on your own practice to promote positive outcomes. So this is standard 4. So your reflections that you do every week would fall under this standard. Having a lot of things in your toolbox to be able to share with children while you make all those games in your science and math classes. Those are things that go under standard 4, because we want to make sure you can connect with families and with children with development appropriate activities. Standard 5, using content knowledge to build meaningful curriculum. So this is all about the teaching part. This is where you use your knowledge and other resources to design, implement, and meaningful, challenging curriculum that promotes comprehensive development and learning. So A, understand content knowledge and resources in language and literacy, the arts, music, creative movement, dance, drama, visual arts, mathematics, science, social, physical activity, physical education, health, safety, and social studies. B, knowing and using the central concepts, inquiry tools, and structures of content areas of academic disciplines. C, using your own knowledge, appropriate early learning strategies, and other resources to design, implement, and evaluate professional needs. So this goes back to also making lesson plans, making sure that you, if you were building your own daycare, that you have appropriate resources, that you know what a toddler can use was different than what a 5-year-old can use. So this is all about the content and the curriculum. It's also about looking for things, like if you want to buy some bulk curriculum, what would you buy? You know what to buy. You know what to buy for different areas. So that's standard 5. Standard 6, becoming a professional. You are to have continuous collaborative learning and demonstrate knowledge, reflection, and critical perspectives on your work, making informed decisions that integrate knowledge from a variety of resources. So there are 5 things in this one. Identify and involving oneself in the early childhood field. That means you're reading books, you're online, you might be on a Facebook page with ideas, you're staying current. Once you graduate, you don't just say, oh, I don't ever need to know anything about education anymore, I need to stay current. B, knowing about and upholding ethical standards. We talked about that with the case study. You have to be ethical. You have to know, who you should say what to, how to say it, how to deal with families. C, engaging in continuous collaborative learning in uniform practice using technology effectively with young children, with peers, and as a professional resource. So I ask you to do PowerPoints and things that you're going to share with other people. D, integrating knowledgeable, reflective, and critical perspectives on early education. And E, engaging in informed advocacy for young children. That means you're doing things out in the community, like your volunteer projects. You can't just say, oh, I'm just going to sit home and do what I want to do. You want to volunteer. You want to work hard for young children. You want to talk to people about being vaccinated, because even though young children may not get sick, they still can get the disease, those kinds of things. And then 7 is about making sure that you have field experience and clinical practice in your program. And so so in this program, you had an opportunity to observe children in birth to age 3, 3 to 5, and 5 to 8. Opportunities to observe and practice in at least 2 of the 3 main types of school. And that's why in 119, You couldn't just do all 6 hours in one place. And that you have to make sure you're going to different types of schools and everything. So y'all understand? You understand why we did all the crazy things we did? You're like, oh, I didn't really want to go to the observation, and I didn't want to go teach this math lesson at school. Or that's because we're trying to make sure we're meeting all 7 of these standards. And when you leave, you're prepared. And I want you to have the same education someone has at any other school in North Carolina and understand these standards, because these are what all curriculums are built on in the nation. So if you leave North Carolina, you go teach in Virginia, they still are going to have these same standards because they're national standards. So we are almost done, because now that you're tying it all together, understanding the standards, and you put your portfolio together, when you look on that rubric, if you look in the rubric, it'll say this assess which standard. This assess this standard. So all 10 of these and your 144 hours will complete your meeting all the standards of the NACE accreditation that we have. So our final steps in this class, from next week to the 30th, the last 2 weeks, we won't meet again. I'll come see you. Your last class will be me coming to see you. So you decide on a date, text me, email me, whatever. Give me at least a day's notice, because I might, I should be in town all those days. On the 19th, on the afternoon, I have to come out here and do the video for graduation. So that afternoon, from 2 to 4, I'm here on campus. Next week's your final reflection paper. If you finished all your hours, you have not finished all your hours, hold off on it until you finish your hours, because I want you to reflect on the whole process. You need to be finished. And then anywhere after the 27th, you can bring your portfolios out. I put to the 30th, but actually to the 4th. Anytime after that. I want them to be neat, professional, nice looking, because if you go to a job interview, you can take it to them and say, this is what I did during my practicum experience. And they'll be like, oh, they'll be impressed. I've had 2 people say they got jobs because of their portfolio, that the people were so impressed with it, and it looks so good and all that kind of stuff. And remember, when you apply for a position and you have to write your philosophy of education, you've already got it. You've already got it written. You just cut and paste it, put it in your thing. So make sure if I made any suggestions when I graded your stuff, you go back and change it. And then I have to have all portfolios by the 4th. I have to turn grades in by the 10th. And then graduation is on the 14th. If you are walking across the stage but still need to take a class this summer, call me and I'll put you in the class, because some of you need a science or math or something. So you still walk across the stage, but you don't actually get your diploma until you take that class. Are you finished? Did we finish? The chemistry. And it's all for the summer online. So we need to put you in that. So just email me tomorrow and make sure we get you in that. Because they'll say you're graduating, but then as soon as you finish the class, they send you your diploma, because they know they're not going to keep you from walking. They're not making you wait a whole year to walk across stage for one class. And I have a couple of people that change majors, like you changed from career to licensure and got those courses in. And if you know anybody who wants to come to our program, send them our way. We're registering till the 30th. We started yesterday and we're registering till the 30th. But go ahead and get back to school tomorrow. Ask your director when I can come. Like I said, I'm pretty flexible on my days. I'm here on campus on Tuesday, so I probably could come in Tuesday. You come already here, and you're right down the road. And if you have any questions or concerns, let me know. Like I said, they'll send out more about graduation. I only know the little bit of details that it's from 6 to 8. And they're going to have food trucks and things like that, and there are new pictures, but they'll send out more information. So just check your email. I would tell you that today in my faculty meeting, my boss said, no, check your email at least once a day. Check your email at least once a day, because stuff's going to be coming out the closer it gets to graduation, and you want to be informed. Also, if you turned in a late assignment to me and it has not been graded, shoot me an email, because I usually grade on Tuesday or Wednesday and Thursday. I usually grade on Wednesday and Thursday. So if you didn't turn something in till Friday because you were out of town or you were sick, I may not have graded it, and I don't go back and check. And I don't get an email saying you submitted it either. So any questions or concerns? I'm so excited for you all. I'm happy for y'all. I'm proud of you. And so I will see you at your school in In 2 weeks.
I'll call you and let you know.
Okay, you just let me, you got my number, so.
Jeez.